So once again, as we've done before, we want to recognize the work that our fire, our police, now our FEMA teams, and so many other public servants are doing, because the things that they're seeing and the things that our families have experienced are unlike any other experience. So that is why we're trying to be cautious. So I want to share that with you. I have a few slides today to frame our conversation, but here is what our message is. Our message is silence your phones. Our message is that we are working as a team. It is rare that we see this level of government leadership all come together. You've heard that we've been in contact at the highest level, and the President has been generous with us beyond measure. But to send the head of FEMA to be with us, who you get to meet in person, the head of the Small Business Association, these are individuals that will be able to describe to you what we can do to help recover, to help heal as a community. So I'm going to get into that in a moment. You're all wondering what we saw on the ground today. There have been more fatalities. The chief will unpack this a little bit more, what they've been seeing, studying, what we've been uncovering. There are 89 fatalities that have been measured. Now, we were here just 2 days ago, and the number was smaller, and it's going to continue to rise. We want to brace people for that. But because of this scale of this operation, we're doing a few things. Let me see if I can pop this slide for you. I may not be able to. There we go. Okay, so it's a complicated experience that we faced. So we are going to do some reviews so that we can make things safer going forward. People have asked why we are reviewing what's going on. It's because the world has changed. A storm now can be a hurricane fire or a fire hurricane. That's what we experienced. That's why we're looking into these policies, to find out how we can best protect our people. It's an emerging picture. If you look at what's been seen now, in West Maui, 2,200 structures have been destroyed or damaged. 86% are residential. In Kula, 544 structures have been exposed, and 96% were residential. The losses approach $6 billion in estimate. The extraordinary thing is to have this leadership from D.C. that can begin to look at how we can rebuild, but also how we can get resources to our people who have lost almost everything. Now, the maps show one snapshot of what has happened here. But these are the human realities. Last night, through the extraordinary work of the mayor, his team, 1,418 people received shelter. But that's also in the backdrop of the loss of life. We're grateful that people have survived. If you go to the shelters, and you should go to the shelters and talk to people.
You can't. We're not allowed in.
On the outside,
Sorry, stand by. Thank you. This is not the Q&A portion. Mahalo.
You'll be able to see their faces as they come out. And we as a community can support them. We can donate to them. We ask for a lot of understanding about travel into the zone where the fire occurred. And the reason for that is the health consequences. We have to go with caution. There are heavy metals there. There are toxic states where the houses have come down and the businesses have come down. The recommendations are to avoid those structures because they could still fall on people. And we've lost too much life already. There are propane tanks there. There's really a lot of hazard. Now, what have we been doing? We've been distributing food in great amounts. For those who have seen, those are the kind of the pictures where thousands and thousands of pounds of water and food have come. Ritz-Carlton and the Lahaina Gateway have been distributing provisions. The mayor was able to get provisions across the area, and we did open up for those carriers and those trucks to make sure that people could get their services. Also, we have one of our heroes, Chad Buck, who's been organizing and working tirelessly to distribute so much provision, and much of that's also coming from around the state and, frankly, around the country. Thousands and thousands of pounds of food have been donated and are coming and are basically en route. Now we should talk to you a little bit about energy. Maui Electric will give us lots more updates, but we've had 1 out of 3 transmission lines restored, meaning 3,700 customers got their energy back. One of the challenges, I should share this with you. One of the challenges is that as much as we would like to get people into hotel rooms, and we're going to be talking about that here in a moment, we have some good news about that, we still have to make sure they have power there, because we don't want to move people from a place where they do have power, they do have working bathrooms, to a place that they don't. So that's coming online very quickly. The scope of the transfer was extraordinary. Almost 15,000 passengers per day were flown out. It makes our recovery work quite a lot easier. And that's why people have left most of that region. We still have people staying at the airport. People are making decisions as to when they feel they're ready to go. A lot of people are stunned. They're traumatized. And they're traumatized by what they see our people going through. Now, Mayor Bisson is spearheading this effort in Maui, and we commend him because the workload is extraordinary. For that reason, we're bringing some support. So when you look at the support that we can offer, there it is. He coordinates this effort, but we have additional military support that has arrived. 50 National Guardmen have arrived today. You'll see many more coming in the days ahead. And that's important because when we have those actual National Guard individuals in service and also some active duty military, and we're going to meet these gentlemen today, it makes it more possible for us to protect certain areas so people can do their work at ground zero, but then also open up the road, make it easier for all of us to travel to the places that we're familiar with. That's a big part of this operation. You're also going to meet the director of FEMA, and they already have 150 people on the ground, 90 assisting in search and rescue. I will leave it to the leadership there. Deanna is an extraordinary individual, and it's amazing to see her in that top post and the experiences she's had across many tragedies, including the COVID tragedy in New York, makes her supremely positioned to help us here. You're going to meet our commanders, and they, in turn, will run the task force, but they can do so much to bring this community into a safer place. Now, DAGS is working for state federal space. We're negotiating for additional facilities, but I think what people are most interested in is housing, how we're going to house our people. So we put together a temporary housing task force which will work with our federal partners. We've already secured 1,000 rooms. 500 rooms will go to families that have been displaced because of the terrible fire. Another 500 rooms to go to support initially. Then coming after that, in the days that follow, we'll have long-term rentals. Those are the short-term rentals turned long-term now. All of that's going to be covered. It's going to be covered by the state. Some of it's going to be given charitably. And then finally, FEMA will cover a great deal of the cost. Now, these are detailed, complicated questions, so they're going to be here on the ground to explain it to our people and to explain it to us. But this will get us into a housing post. What we'd like to do is get people in as early as now. But without power, without stable power, once again, it will be likely tomorrow or Monday when we see the largest number of people get into housing. I can assure you it's going to be a great relief for the incredible volunteers that are in the field. A couple more questions that people have had. What do we do long term? How do we do this? We give people vouchers, we get them into their housing. But what we also have to do is we have to find resources for them. And in order to do that, you can see state funds, federal funds, in the billions of dollars over time. But we also want to make that resource available immediately. And so FEMA will be describing that to you. If people want to donate, once again, please go to the many websites. One of them is the Hawaii Community Foundation. It's Maui Strong. You'll see that there. Tens of millions of dollars are coming in. And that's going to be distributed to our people. So thank you. Thank you for that. I'll just close with this. This is the largest natural disaster we've ever experienced. It's going to also be a natural disaster that's going to take an incredible amount of time to recover from. So in the next few days, as we characterize how many people we've lost and how many people are coming into our community, please understand that we come at this like an ohana, because it's going to be, in the short term, heartbreaking. In the long term, people are going to need mental health care services. In the very long term, we'll rebuild together. That's why we brought this team together, and we appreciate your patience. We will continue to do these conversations so that the world knows what Maui's going through. Aloha.
That is Josh Green, the Hawaii Governor, live there with an update on the fire situation. Josh Green just said the largest national disaster they have ever experienced, with 89 fatalities so far. They will continue to search for missing people. They have additional military national support, and last night they confirmed 1,418 people received shelter. They've asked for understanding into people heading to the fire zone due to the health consequences of heavy metals, dangerous conditions with structures that are still very unstable. The distribution of food and water is coming in great amounts.